Hey everyone, welcome to this session. So in this session, I will be walking you through how I built a custom MCP client for Algolia, basically turning Algolia into something where you can just chat with it. Sounds cool, right? Now let's get started. Okay, so quick bit about me. My name is Kiran and I'm currently working as a full stack developer at Cyberwarfare Labs. But beyond that, I love to write technical blogs on the dev community, and I also love to experiment with new AI tools. I actually built this project during a dev community hackathon, and it really got me excited about MCP, like how it connects LLM to external data tools in such a simple way. So rather than just telling you what I built, let me show quickly to you. So here is my client, and let's say my manager asked me to show some quick stats like the total number of search operation done on our production website last week. So instead of going through our Algolia dashboard and clicking around it, I can ask my client directly here and get the response. So now I'm going to ask my client to generate a graph for all the search operation done between this period to this period for my dev application. So it's going to get the data from my Algolia account for the above mentioned date for all the search operation, and it will use that data to generate a graph for me. Cool, right? So it gave me a beautiful graph for all the search operation done for the above mentioned dates, and it's giving me the total operations as well. Now I can easily copy this message and share it with my manager. So in the rest of the session, I will be explaining how this works, what MCP is, and later I will show a full demo walkthrough as well with some more examples. Now let's go back to our PPT. Okay, so now let's start with the simplest explanation what MCP is. So MCP stands for Model Context Protocol that connects LLMs with external data tools. External data tools means can be a Algolia, can be Slack, can be Gmail or GitHub or any other application. So now let's try to understand this MCP with one simple example. If I open my Cloud desktop and ask the LLM to list all my Algolia apps. So it's going to tell me it doesn't have access to my Algolia icon. So likewise, even if I ask to send one hi message to John on my Slack account, it's going to tell me it doesn't have access to that account as well. That's because those two lives outside the context of this client. So this is where exactly the MCP comes to the rescue. MCP will provide more context to your LLMs so that it performs some more actions. So this MCP works on a client server based model where the client can be anything like an AI application or an IDE, and server is where your actual data or tool lives. This MCP helps to make 1:1 connection between this MCP client and MCP server. Now let's take a closer look into this MCP client. MCP client is basically a component within an application. Again, that can be a application or an AI IDE that facilitates the communication with an MCP server. Some example MCP clients are Cloud Desktop, VS Code IDE, or Cursor IDE. Custom MCP client. So the cool thing about this MCP is we can build our own custom MCP client or custom MCP server. In our case, we built custom MCP client. If you ask me why MCP client, it provides you more flexibility and control. You can integrate this client in any of your own projects. You can do deeper customization. You can build a rich UI on top of this custom MCP client, and obviously it will be a cost effective one. On the other side, we have MCP server. MCP server is basically a program that exposes specific capabilities to your AI application. Basically, the MCP server will expose all your application APIs to your LLM so that your LLM can send API calls to your application and get the data. Some example MCP servers are the file system MCP server, the GitHub MCP server, or any database MCP server. So Algolia also has its own MCP server through which we can talk to our Algolia data through natural language queries. And we can connect this MCP server with any of the MCP clients. If you connect to this MCP server, I mean the Algolia MCP server, you can search and manipulate your data, you can analyze your data, you can monitor your data, you can visualize your data, you can integrate this data into your application. So Algolia made this repository available publicly and open source. You can scan this QR code and explore the repository, and you can connect your Algolia data as well. Now let's see the high level architecture of our custom MCP. So you can see there is a user, front end, back end, LLM, and Algolia MCP. So the user will enter his query or select the predefined templates and send from front end to back end. The back end will process the query. It will pass to LLM. Your LLM will actually process the query. And if there is any tool call required, it will call the Algolia MCP server and fetch the data. Based on that data, it will generate a markdown response and send back to front end. In front end, we will render that response and show it to the user. So the tech stack I used to build this application, on the front end, I have used React, White, and Tailwind to build a chat UI. On the back end, I have used Fast API. The LLM I am using here is Claude, and the MCP server is Algolia. Okay, now let's see some interesting key features of this application. We can talk to our client in natural language queries, and it provides you richer responses. Not only the simple plain text, it provides responses in chat blocks and code blocks as well. And I have provided some predefined templates so that you don't need to rewrite the general queries again and again. And it offers dark theme, light theme, and custom Algolia theme for styling. And all your chats will be stored in local storage on your system machine. Okay, so to make all this works, I have carefully crafted this system prompt. Basically, I am telling the LLM how to structure the outputs. I am telling when to use markdown, how to use code blocks, and how to format the chart blocks. On the front end, I am rendering this one and showing it to the user. Okay, now let's see the full demo of this entire application. Now let's open my VS Code. So this is my front end React application code, and let me show my backend as well. Okay, so let me start the new fresh terminal. So this is my Python application, the backend. So let's start the backend now. So before we start our backend, we need to make sure that we have installed the Algolia MCP server. For that, we can go to this URL, I mean the GitHub repository, and we can download the latest release of this Algolia MCP server. After downloading it, we need to pass the path for that Algolia MCP server in our client.py, so that when you start your backend server, it will automatically run your Algolia MCP server as well. So now let's start the backend. So it started our backend. You can see it's showing connected to server with these tools. It means it started our Algolia MCP server as well. Now let's go back to our front end. Now let's start our front end as well. Okay, so it started our front end. Let me open it. Okay, so here is our front end UI. You can see I have defined some pre-defined templates here. If you click here, it will automatically pre-fill the text box here, list all my apps, show the indices, the index configuration, no result rate, ongoing incidents, and A by B test. And you can switch the themes from this section. This is light theme, this is dark theme, and this is custom Algolia theme. Actually, I took inspiration from the original Algolia website for designing this custom Algolia theme. Now let's switch to our dark theme. You can see here, if you click this button, it will show Algolia MCP with 33 tools. That means your front end connected to your backend successfully, and it's showing all the available MCP tools. And here I have provided option to switch the LLMs, but as of now I'm using Cloud Sonnet. This section we can see all the chats. So now let's ask some few queries. List all my Algolia apps. Okay, so it gave me the response as you have one Algolia application, that is dev. Actually, I have only one application, that is dev. You can start a new chat from clicking this section, and let me ask for the index configuration for my index. That is, I only have this Algolia movie sample dataset. So you can see it gave me all the configuration for my mentioned Algolia movie sample dataset index, showing me the searchable attributes, title, alternative scores, actors, custom ranking, everything. Now let me ask, what is instant.js? Okay, you can see it's telling instant search is an open source production ready library. It's providing all the details about it. You can see it's rendering the code block as well. Can copy the code block as well. And let me try some other queries as well. Ongoing incident. Are there any ongoing incident at Algolia? So the current status is operational, and it's showing some history incidents as well. Can see. So this is like having your personal AI assistant which knows all your Algolia data. Now let's go back to our PPT. So I have made the front end and back end code available on my GitHub repositories. You can scan these QR codes, and you can visit the repositories. You can build it, you can break it, you can clone, fork, do whatever you want. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for joining this session. I hope you really enjoyed this session. If you want to connect with me, I have mentioned my LinkedIn username. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. And yeah, thanks again for joining.